Yeah. Hi, I guess. So it's been quite some time since my last video. A little over a year. Uh, just a case of I had ideas, just didn't have time to do them because of uni or just other stuff going on. Um, I took a break just after Christmas. Went and hung out in an alliance with Cat Murdoch and Campo. Some other people. Great alliance. Love them all. But excuse me, sorry. Uh, but yeah, I was just wanting to get back to Masters, um, getting some getting some fun wars and everything. And yeah, so I've gone and I've joined for Loki, which is a it's always been a bit of a goal of mine. I didn't leave SSX on any hard terms or anything. Still really good friends with everyone there. It was just a case of I needed the break for myself. The attack tactic at the time was taking quite a big toll on me, and I just was not enjoying the game. So I needed to just take a step back for a bit of a break, just readjust, and yeah, I'm back. Hopefully, going to start making videos on a more consistent basis, or at least going to try to. We'll be going off to uni in a couple of weeks, which might slow down some videos, but yeah, looking forward to being back and making some vids again. So yeah, first war of the season. We'll just go through this. There's nothing particularly interesting on this first section. It's just Path 8 in Section 1. We're against Nefty. But yeah, whilst we're going through this Killmonger, because it does take a while. Sim not... I mean, he works, and we'll see that. It just takes a little while sometimes. Especially when things don't quite go according to plan. But yeah, so I'll just leave that running in the background while I talk through a little bit of my thoughts on the tactics so far. So, the tactic, yeah, I don't hate it. I don't think it's my favourite one we've ever had, but there's definitely a couple of issues. It could just be a thing of growing pains, because obviously we've not been able to test in off-season, because bosses don't get placed. Understand why, tactical advantage and all. But yeah, so no testing means that I have to figure things out as we go. But yeah, so the tactic, it does a good job of shutting down the defense tactic when you have the right champions. You need a lot of consistent debuff placement, which some of the champions in the pool, they don't necessarily have the quickest application, which it does mean that you have to play a bit slower, play a bit more carefully, and in some cases it really can screw you over because of my personal big issue being the miss. I understand to an extent why the miss was added to perhaps lock out some options that could, do some things that they're not supposed to, and interact the way that they could. So yeah, that's annoying, because especially if you mess up slightly and the power gain gets triggered, there really isn't an easy way to recover half the time. And when some of the champions in the pool don't have the most consistent debuff placement, it just leads to some rather stressful situations. I don't think there's I don't think the attack pool is awful. There's definitely some good champions in there, but those who aren't going to be banned just sometimes don't have the reach that is quite needed for some of these paths. But we learn as we go. We'll figure out some stuff, figure out interactions, and yeah. So next up we have Chavez taking this with Shuri. So my team is Shuri, Sim Supreme, and Mordo. Mordo is purely here for Sinju Sim Supreme, that we'll see later on. Just basically grant him in an extra bar of power at the start of the fight. But yeah, so I'm just going to have to learn as we go and figure it out. And yeah, looking forward to it. Could get annoying next season with the blacklist bans, especially with there being 5 bans on top of that. But we'll figure that out when we get there. So yeah, so this Chavez fight, nothing too complex, just don't push it to SB2, try not to bait out heavies, and because Shuri's immune to the dexterity the buff that the Dexterity Mastery grants, it means that Chavez isn't going to be gaining any power from MD. So, you know, nice simple fight here. And yeah, nice and straightforward. So yeah, next up we have this Hulkling fight. But yeah, nothing too complex here either. It's over very quickly. When there's buffs for Sim to capitalise on, he really does capitalise on them. But yeah, so looking forward to playing with 4 Loki more. Absolutely loving it here. Great group of people, and get to play with some people I've played with before, which was great. One of them was even my officer in this planning for me. So yeah, looking forward to it. Big old burst of 233,000 odd there. So yeah, Hulkling is now just, he's dead here. And then we move to the unfortunate matchup where I did drop a death. So yeah, there we go. That's the burst. Cool little big number. So here we have the death. This was against Destroyer, and none other than TJ's Destroyer. Known TJ for a while now. He's a good friend, good guy. His Destroyer is a bit rude though. Yeah, so this was just a case of I watched it back after I dropped it, and there were definitely things that I could have and should have done better. So for example there, I should have tried to push into the SB2 rather than just letting him throw the SB1s, because as you can see his destruction charges are getting up there, and when he reaches 100, which is about to happen in a second, because here I left myself way too open, he throws it and gets his big power gain. And that's where my second mistake kind of comes into it. What I should have been doing is I should have been throwing less SB1s with Shuri, and you know, sticking to SB2s or just not throwing any, because her passive shocks don't count for the heal block for the attack tactic, which obviously inhibits defender power gain, the ability power gain. So yeah, just not having a consistent enough debuff placement due to my own misplay just led to the death there. Could have and probably should have run a invul, which I did switch to, and I was glad for that for the next fight, which we'll get to. But yeah, as you can see here, I kind of realised my mistake, so I just go for the 1 SB1, and then pretty much as soon as I can, I then dump all the charges. In the future, probably just maybe go for 1 at the start, and then not do any more after that. But yeah, he's still got a bit closer to an SB3 there. I did get a little bit worried for a second, but yeah, you can see here I'm just managing the charges a lot better, getting that heal block on more often. So yeah, it's just a case of adapting and learning as we go. Because you can see here that same power gain is significantly lower than it were before. But yeah, and thanks to Summer Suffering, know those dexes now. So yeah. Nice cleanup. Shame I hadn't thought of it first time round, but you know, we live and learn. And I know for next time what to do and what not to do. So next up we have the serpent. The serpent's on the left hand side, and yeah, it's just a case of ramping up the Sim Supreme, getting to that SB3, getting all 3 spells triggered, and then just trying to loop SB2s, which doesn't quite go to plan. But you know, ultimately do come out the other side, and with pretty high health, so you know, solo is a solo. But yeah, so just going for the SV3, get the 3 charges, and with the power backs and the power from Sim's little symbiote charges, which you can see up in the top left, the little 100, just grants a nice little bit of power. So yeah, just working our way through this, the protection and just slowing us down slightly, just making sure to knock him down. Do a little backdraft there to throw into the SB2. I always have great fun doing that. And yeah, so this SB3, obviously because we've now got the 3 arm breaks on, deals significantly more damage, so we'll get a lot more power back. And I was hoping here to be able to launch an SB2. Oh, I do. It's later on, yeah. So there, I was hoping it wouldn't push me to an SB3, but it did. And here it's just a case of, right, I need to get back to my SB2 as quick as possible to control his power, which we will see doesn't quite happen. So he gets pushed down, I gain way too much power, so I just immediately throw it again, but the death immunity that Serpent has can't be nullified and grants him a good bit of power as well as health, so he does go to an SB3. I was trying to bait it out there, but not enough, and yeah, so when Serpent's SB3 deals no damage, he gains a massive power gain. So that power gain stacked on top of the power gain from the death immunity, stacked on top of his own power gain from other abilities, meant that he just shot straight up to another SB3. So at this point now I've only got one charge left on my invul. I'm getting a slightly bit worried, but I'm just spamming the special button, and there we go, we managed to get it off. And yeah, there we go, Serpent dead. So that's the first war against Nefty. And yeah, hopefully next one goes a bit better and we'll have a bit of a better season. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.